Hello and welcome to EV Car Share, and this is Matt Smith. This is a quick video to update on one of my previous videos where I went through the Kia Sat Nav. So I know I only released that video like about a month ago. There was no intention of then releasing another video on it a month later, but Kia in their wisdom decided to change the Sat Nav in the August update. So the infotainment software, so that's the Sat Nav plus all the radio stuff and that sort of stuff, gets a regular update. And one of the key features that gets updated is the Sat Nav, based on kind of changes to the routes planning and changes to the road network and so on like that. It updates all your maps. Generally the function of it doesn't change a great deal, so I was happy to make a video and release it. But of course now the function has changed, and they've changed some of the stuff that I focused on really. So I thought there's need to have another video. So here's the other video. So let's bring you in and show you the screen. So you can see the screen. So if I go to map, cancel on that one. So you can see at the moment over here I have 53% battery. Oops. And I am parked in Morrison's car park, as it happens, in Peterborough. Just happen to be here. I'm doing some shopping in a moment. So let's just go straight into the search. And if you remember last time, we went to Alnwick Castle as our theoretical journey because that's where I was going the following day. So let's try Alnwick Castle again. It's in my list of recent journeys. So then it will discover where it's going, and you'll notice that it has include charge stations pre-ticked. And now
the route guidance will start now.
Okay, one of the annoying things is that screen disappears far too quickly. But if you go menu, route options, it will take you back there. It recalculates, which is slightly annoying. Why do you need to wait when it's already recalculated just a moment ago? But because you're going there yourself this time on purpose, it doesn't have that countdown of 5 seconds on the start guidance, so it will stay on. So we have include charge stations ticked, which defaults I think when the infotainment system update was done. And you'll notice now with that checked or ticked, it has pre-arranged for me some charging stops, which is nice of it. And you can see that we have 350 kilowatt chargers in both cases. It's taken me to places with a lot of availability, which is good. So 11 of 16 available, 11 16 available. This is a Friday night, so you're not guaranteed to have it's not a lot of quiet time. Let's say you're not doing this example overnight at 2 in the morning or anything like that. This is a Friday evening, so it should be busy. We have a 22-minute stop and a 7-minute stop. So we're driving down to 35%, charging to 90%, then 20% to 47%. Now I have the car settings set with a maximum DC charge of 90%, which is why it's taking me up to 90. If I had something lower, it would have charged to a lower percentage, say 80%. That would make that charge quicker than 22 minutes, and would probably then mean I'm charging higher in the second charge. It will probably even those stops out a little bit. So we're looking at 4 hours 27 minutes, and it looks like 29 minutes is being used with charging. Now to me that seems pretty reasonable and pretty good. And these two charge stops I imagine will be grid serve, based on my local knowledge. Now it's not telling you the brand there. If you need to know the brand, then we can go to add tour point, and it will show you in the list those charging points. So you can see here I was correct, they are both grid serve stops. If I tap on it, you can see in the overview where it's getting me to charge. You can zoom out on this with your fingers, so if you want to find out exactly where that is or a bit more information. So you can see this one's not far from kind of Durham sort of area. That earlier one is going to be more, so that's kind of Grantham sort of area. There's Grantham. So I know these places. I have the local knowledge. I've driven up and down that road loads of times. The good thing with having it pre-plan your route, click OK there, with Kia Sat Nav pre-planning your route for you, is if you don't know the roads, you don't know these places, then you don't have to worry about it. You can just put it in and it finds these places for you. Now if you take off the include charging stations, then it will tell you that you do need to have a charge in order to get there, and it will offer you to search for stations. So now you can search for stations.
The route guidance will start now.
And it will then give you a list of the stations that are on your route. So you can see over here, it's picked out routes as the filter, and it's offering me places I could stop between here going forwards. So for instance, this one's going to be more, that's what it's talking about, that it's programmed for me. That's in 40 miles time. Now I've got 160 miles of range according to my dashboard, so I might want to go further. I want to say, okay, I want to go beyond that point. So there are other options here. There's some more grid serve again if I like grid serve, but if I have a card that gets me a cheap rate at Shell or Instavolt or wherever, Apple Green, then I can, or an app that gets me a cheaper rate, then I can change and I can pick one of those instead. So I could select Apple Green and add it as a tool point down here, and that adds in Apple Green as one of my charge stops, and then I can click calculate. Okay, it still thinks I need more stops, which based on its previous calculation I think is true. You can see in the background here it's saying 7% on arrival, so actually I could probably do the Apple Green on its own and not have to stop anymore. So I'll click on close there. So you can see now it's telling me I'm charging from 30% to 90% and I'm arriving with 7%. Now it thinks that's a bit too tight. What you decide, that's up to you. Maybe you think that will be fine. Maybe you'll say, okay, if I'm arriving at that Apple Green at 30% and arriving at my destination at 7%, maybe I can go deeper than 30% into the battery, maybe go a bit further up the road. Then if I charge to 90%, then I'll have more charge to get me to the end. Of course, the Apple Greens aren't as fast as the grid serve, so you can see again it's taking 28 minutes just for that one charge from 30 to 90%. So I can go add tool point. If you tap on the tool point or tap and hold on the tool point, you can delete that tool point. Then I can add, I can scroll to the bottom, choose charging stations. So if we're going beyond that Apple Green, maybe we're going to one of these Shell Recharge. Let's choose that one and click OK, and then calculate. Yeah, so now you can see we have got to the Shell Recharge in 20.
Will start now.
Okay, let's go back to that screen. Thank you. Now you can see we arrived there with 21%, charged to 90% in 31 minutes and arrived with 15%. The car seems to be happy with that now. It hasn't told me that I need more charging stops. It hasn't told me that I won't arrive there. So it seems to be happy with 15%. Now when driving the car, if you reach 10%, it tells you you need to charge now. It gives you the messages on screen telling you to find the closest charger. So I think 10% seems to be a pre-programmed concern level for the car. I think if you have greater than 10% at the end, it will accept that as okay. Not ideal, but we'll go with it. Your choice, sort of thing. So you can see there's various different options. You can still choose to have it choose your charging locations, and you can also, using the tour point function, you can remove the ones it told you to have. You can add the ones that you want to have. The only problem I found is that when you come to the add tour point option and you add a tour point and you go to the EV charging stations, this list is limited. So although you want to find things along your route, you can only go so far up your route before it stops. So it won't let you go any further. You're like, I want to go further, but it won't let you go any further, which is a bit of a pain. So if you're doing really long journeys, you might have to do those journeys in chunks, but you may well be doing that anyway, because of course no one really wants to drive for 36 hours constantly doing 1,500 miles or something like that. We're all going to have at some point a stop along the way, so it shouldn't be too difficult then to do it in chunks. Go back again. Okay, so start guidance.
The route guidance will start now.
And I'll just cancel that. So the other thing that I've noticed, which is worth probably showing, actually two things I've noticed. One is that over here it rates charge points now with a kilowatt value. Previously it would have said HPC here, which was high power charger. The next level down was referred to as DC, and then the next level down was referred to as AC. Now it refers to the high power chargers as greater than or equal to 150 kilowatt. The next level down it refers to as greater than or equal to 50 kilowatt, and the one down from that it refers to as below 50 kilowatt. So there's no distinction between AC and DC, which is strange because you can sometimes find DC chargers that are below 50 kilowatt. Not that it really matters that much, but it's just a point of interest, something worth bearing in mind. And then the other thing is, what if you're going to somewhere nearby? So I've got 158 miles in the battery, so I should easily be able to make it to, let's say, Lincoln. Stick in Lincoln, Lincoln Castle, Lincoln College. I click OK. I'll take just Lincoln, thanks. Whoops, too many taps. Go back. So let's try again. Lincoln. Okay. Lincoln. Set as destination. There we go. That's what I'm meant to do. So this doesn't require a charging stop. It's too close, or close enough that it doesn't require a charging stop.
Guidance will start now.
If we go back to that previous display in such a way that it stays on, you'll now notice that you get an estimated arrival percentage, which is quite nice on this display. So this was never there before. Previously you would get your recommended and your fastest route, but you wouldn't get the estimated arrival percentage, which is quite nice. And that recommended route is taking me up the main road and then across. If I go up the main road, cut off earlier, then I have the fastest route, and now it's showing me I get there 28% instead. I don't know why it's suggesting the recommended route is as recommended. After all, the fastest route is faster by a minute, it's shorter by about 5 miles, and it gets me there with a better percentage, so a higher estimated percentage remaining. So as to why it's suggesting that one's recommended and the other's fastest, I really don't know, but there we go. So that's really what I wanted to show you. So those are the things that have changed based on comparison to the video I did before. Hopefully that's been useful. I still think the Kia Sat Nav is very usable as a route planning guide, especially with the charging station plotting along the route. I find that really useful. The ability to also override it and use some different charge points is also useful. One thing I would say that I would much rather, or find it not very good with, it would be good if you could blacklist and whitelist certain brands of chargers. So if I could say, no, I don't ever want to use BP and Shell Recharge because they're rubbish. I do want to use Ionity, Fastned, GridServe, etc. That would be really good. There is a filter list of chargers in one of the screens, but it's only a short list, and it seems to be, I don't know, a global or at least a Europe-wide list. So there's lots of brands in there that I can tick on or off that aren't available in the UK because they're not UK brands, like Enel X. I've come across those in Italy. We don't have them in the UK. and there are lots of brands that we have in the UK that are not in the list, so it really becomes a fairly pointless list. Doesn't really provide any function. It'd be nice if that was much more localized to the charge points that I'm likely to be using. So if Kia, if you're listening, then that will be something great. Apart from that, I quite like it. I would say it's all good. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Obviously subscribe, give me some comments. All that sort of stuff helps the channel. And come back and watch other videos that I have available for you to watch. So until next time, this is me, I'm Matt Smith, this has been EV Car Share, and I'll speak to you again.